Better if I unmute you.
Hello.
I got you a new song.
Hello.
Hello. Just broke a nail and that's kind of irritating.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We don't need to flash anymore. I was flashing with the music for you.
I
There we
keep
go.
the flashing going. So fun.
I can make it breathe instead.
Oh, like a,
Yeah. I think it
I
also will
love
go
it.
to like rhythm, but I apparently don't have a rhythmic
Oh, that's so fun.
voice.
That's
So yeah,
cute.
they're here for your amusement.
I just love them.
I
They're
know
a good
you do.
time. I like these better than the other ones, and I love the other ones too.
I
But these are
know.
now
These are
officially my
cute.
favorite.
They're my favorite too. Though
Yeah.
they are like operationally really annoying sometimes.
Is it just because you have to
I
charge them up? Is that why?
have to charge them. They're being annoying right now with the new
Oh,
setup. And like
oh,
I also didn't test it before like 3 minutes before the
yeah,
whole thing. So
yeah. That's how we
I didn't
roll. Test what?
so I don't know why we would test anything. So yeah, that was fun. That was a good time trying
Yeah,
to figure out how to make them connect, but we're here now.
right.
So
We're
that's what
here.
matters.
We're here by the skin of our, well, by
Mhm.
the skin of my teeth. I'm here. So
Yeah, I
there's
know.
that.
Well, it's interesting. So you are like you've had a whole day
I've had a whole
behind
day.
behind you. I've
Yeah.
just woken up.
Oh,
I've just
wow.
woken up.
Wow.
Remember that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Like I'm already like, I'm geared up. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm geared up. I'm very much full of energy. So I'm green and
But
ready to go.
good, because
Although
I
I've
am
been standing up the last, well, since 10:45.
well, guess what? You can bring that desk down and sit down,
I know. I
and
know.
you get
I
some
gotta
time to
tell
relax.
you, I am in love with my standing desk. I adore it. It's so much workspace and I do enjoy standing and working. I love it. I
Well, I
love it.
don't have a standing desk, but I do have a new
With storage.
with storage, which is really
Yeah,
new,
exactly.
and I have
Exactly.
a great big monitor, so you are like
Mhm.
I can actually have stuff
Amazing.
on the side. It's wonderful. So when I have to look stuff
Amazing.
up, I don't have to, like, lose your beautiful face.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Just a work
You
in
know,
progress.
we're just over here upgrading our home office recording setups. It's a good time.
Well, I really got it so that when I finally get a gaming PC, I can play some games.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be fun. It's going
Mhm,
to be a good time. Mhm.
mhm.
Mhm. Yeah. So,
So
yes. You're on, ma'am. I'm listening. I'm listening.
I was
I'm
gonna say,
listening.
so this is our 100th
I
episode.
know. I'm pretty
I
stoked.
I wish I had a soundboard so we could go like
I'm really stoked. And listen, can I just pat ourselves on the back for being really
for
consistent,
doing this.
for doing
Yeah,
it, but also like we've been really consistent.
we have
And
actually.
it's not like you and I have work schedules that are in sync, right? We don't. We do not have work schedules that are in sync. Like it is a time for a listener to like figure out what days are we available to record. Like it's a challenge sometimes. And when we look at that challenge and look at the fact that we've been able to be consistent and putting out weekly episodes, I'm pretty proud of us. Oh, and then she goes away. Well, we're still live, so she's gonna try to get back in here. What's are you I heard something. I wonder if she can still hear me. Well, it's a good time. For anybody that's new here, we are TBR Lowdown, a weekly bookish conversational podcast. We love books. We love talking about books. We run an annual reading challenge called 12 Women, 12 Countries, and you can find that information on our website at tbrlowdown.com. We also posted that readathon, that reading challenge on Storygraph as well, if you want to follow it over there. Also, be sure to follow the hashtag 12 Women, 12 Countries on Instagram, on Lemon8, sort of on Twitter. Neither one of us are very active on Twitter. But everything about TBR Lowdown is on our website. In addition to the annual reading challenge, we also have an annual reading schedule where we select 6 books to read throughout the year. That information also on tbrlowdown.com. So join in on that. We have a Patreon with 2 tier levels, and we also have a Discord. Again, you can go to our website for all of that information. Join our Discord is free, and the 2 Patreon levels are paid levels. But feel free to just join our Discord. We've got a nice little community growing over there. We're having a good time, having some great conversations. So pop on in and introduce yourself. So we've got things going on, and we're always looking for more ways to grow with our community and to communicate more with our community. So check us out. Let us know you're around. Let us know who you are. Make yourself known so we can start building a relationship with you. So that is TBR Lowdown. But yes, everything is always on our website, tbrlowdown.com. So make sure you go there and check that out. And hopefully Alyssa is able to get back in. Well, you know what? Since she's working on that, I was in the thrift store yesterday. It was a random drive by. My grandson and I were kind of like piddling around. We had like 30 minutes, not like 40 minutes to spare before his swim class started. And there's a Savers thrift store in the plaza where his swim school is. So we popped on in and I was like, let's just see what books they have. Well, I found 3 gems. Okay, let me show you. All right. So I found The Girls by Emma Cline. And I'm glad I found this because I do want to read this before I read her. Does she have 2 or 3 novels? I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just this. And then, what is it? The Guest? Whatever that new one is. But I'm glad I found this so I can give this a read. Then I was like, I can't believe this is here. The Covenant of Water. Boom. Just right there. I mean, could not believe it. This sucker goes for $32. $32. And I found it at Savers. And then a book I've gone back and forth with. Do I want to read this? No. Yes, I do. No, I don't. No, I want to read it. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. Now, I have read Piranesi. Read that a couple years ago. I thought it was brilliant. And so I was like, I really do want to read her other book. So I found this there. How much did I pay for these 3 books? $13 and some change. Okay. $13 and some change. So that was a winner for me. So anyway, if you've read any of these, let me know. I wish I kind of want to start this one soon. I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to start it like this month. I feel like it might be the perfect time. It's fall. It's crisp outside. I don't know. I may dive into this. And also, I don't know why I thought this book was longer. I mean, not that it's not long. It's 782 pages, but I thought it was like in the 1,000 page mark. But nonetheless, I think I may try to start it this month. It is what I'm most curious about. So check out your thrift stores. I don't go to them often because I do have McKay used books, not McKay's. That's different. I have a McKay used books, and that's where I do the majority of my shopping because the inventory is just outstanding and the prices are ridiculous, and I can trade in books for store credit. So I'll check out my thrift stores like 4 times a year, and most every time I go, I find some good stuff. I've got a Savers, a Second Avenue, a Salvation Army, and this weird thrift store called Be Thrifty. So I have pretty good luck, but still nothing beats McKay. I'm just saying. Nothing beats McKay. All right. Oh, very atmospheric. Okay. Yes, that's what I'm thinking too. That's what I'm thinking too. So I'm excited to get that going. Although I currently have like what, Sidebar: does anybody else's watch just jump in and just butt into the conversation? Because mine does constantly. I've got like 7 books going. I'm reading. Well, I just finished Into the Woods. I'm reading The Paying Guest, The Shadowlands. My book stack is over there. Um, I've got Zafloya on deck. The Black Company by Glenn Cook. Um, what else do I have over there? Something else. Oh, I'm also reading The Passage, which I'll talk about today. So I've already got like a lot of books on deck. I love a book that's so atmospheric that you think about it years later. I love that. It's slightly more vibes than plot. Okay, I can get with that. I can get with that. I'm also I don't know if you've read this book, The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. I have recommended that book, and so has Alyssa several times on this show. But it is a book that I read annually because I am never not thinking about that book. And I just, when I read it, I don't want to leave it. I adore it so much. So I think I may start that one next week. And I really like to take my time with it, like just read a little bit at a time because I just want it to last. I want it to last. So I hope Alyssa is all right with her tech stuff because I don't see her in here. Well, I'm going to keep going. All right. So we normally, I'm sure she'll get in here soon. I haven't read about after. Oh, yes. The Historian really is quite the book. It is atmospheric. It is creepy. It is full of mystery. It is really adventurous. It makes you want to travel. I just cannot get enough of that book. I cannot get enough of it. And every year I look forward to reading it. And it's a chunker, but it moves, not in a fast-paced way, but it just flows like water. It just flows. And it's a phenomenal book. All right. So while we're still waiting for Alyssa to get back in here, I'm just going to tell you all one of the many books I've been reading, which is The Passage by Justin Cronin. Now, this is a series that I've always heard about. And I said, you know what? I didn't know what it was about, but I always heard about it. I didn't know the genre. I didn't know anything about it. I just heard that it was really good, that people loved it. And what happened was Justin Cronin's latest oh, hello. Can't hear you. She's having some tech trouble.
Can you hear me now?
Hear you now.
Oh my God. Hi.
Don't worry, I kept them entertained. I gave them a little rundown of what TBR Lowdown is and what we offer.
Sorry about that.
I gave them my thrift store book haul from yesterday.
Oh, nice. What did you get?
I got Emma Klein's The Girls.
Okay.
Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
Okay. Naomi, I could have just sent you that book.
Covered it of water.
I literally could have sent you Jonathan Strange.
That's okay. Is this the one you started, but then you didn't finish?
Oh, no. I read that whole thing and I hate it.
Okay. Ooh, am I going to hate it?
I don't know. You might like it. It's long and boring and tedious. So you might love it.
I know. Sometimes it's like that book we both read. What was it?
Gaslight. And you gaslit me into reading it.
I loved it. And you were like, Naomi. You're like, Naomi, this is so boring.
It was bad. It was bad. It was so bad. Anyway.
I was just so into it.
I just had an experience and a half. So everybody's aware. Experience and a half. So I accidentally hit one of the buttons on my mouse that sent me backwards in time on my webpage, which kicked me out. And so then which is a handy feature when you mean to hit it, but not when you don't. And then I could not get my camera to repair. And then I realized my camera was dying because my new, I don't know what's going on with, there's like no pass-through charging through my new docking station. So my stupid camera was dying. So then I had to go get It was a whole thing. And then StreamYard kept telling me it was already using my camera. I was like, you're absolutely not using my camera. You are
It's like
100%
you're
not.
wrong.
I know you're wrong because my camera's almost dead. So, yeah. So that was fun. Sorry about that, everybody.
Don't you just love technology? It's like so reliable all the
It's
time.
because I changed my whole setup and I really should have triple checked that everything that I thought was working and not just assuming that it did. Um,
Well, it happens.
it
It
does.
happens.
So I have to
Yeah.
figure out where this pass-through charging is. It might be it's on the front USB, not the back USB, because the back USB is
Uh,
probably just input.
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I'll figure it out, just not
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
Like I
not
literally
right
was
now.
I was crawling my ass under the desk. I had to go get like a
What is it?
longer charger and then crawl under the desk and find an open USB port on an actual like surge protector. And
Oh my gosh. You had a time. I was
so
like, she is struggling because normally she would be like right back in. I was like,
no,
oh
she
no,
struggled.
something's happening.
Struggle
Something's
bus.
happening. Yeah.
Struggle bus.
Yeah.
Major struggle bus. So yeah.
Well, you made it
But you
back
know what?
in.
We made it. I'm here again. I was going to say before I did that because it's my morning, I have my new obsession of the
Oh,
non-alcoholic zero proof
yeah.
cocktails for our 100 celebration. So I
And
can
I've got
celebrate
my
with you.
iced chai tea latte, which is just so delicious.
I mean, I guess I could have put Bailey's in my coffee and it would have been the same, but I don't think
You
I
could
want to
have.
start my day with Bailey's. So here we are.
It's a celebration. Break out the cake and streamers
And all the
and the
technical
Baileys
difficulties because it
and
wouldn't be
all
us.
of that. Yes. Yes.
So,
It happens,
so
man.
anyway. Anywho, what are you
Yeah.
reading, Naomi?
So as I was getting ready to get into, I was getting ready to tell them that I am currently one of the many books I'm reading is The Passage by Justin
Mm-hmm.
Cronin. I was telling them that I've always heard about this series, but I did not know what it was about. I didn't know the genre it was in. And yeah, like a few months ago, Justin Cronin came out with a new book called The Ferryman, and it was one of our Libro ALCs. And I
Yeah,
listened
like
to it and I was
everybody was
like,
reading it.
oh God, it's so good. I mean, it's just so good. I devoured it. And then that made me go back and look at The Passage and see what it was about. And then I found book 1 and 2 at McKay. And I just ordered book 3. So uh the passage is weird, but like he draws you right in. There's something going on with something monstrous, and they are the US government is like using criminals who basically have no family and who were in jail like with life or having the death penalty. They basically quote unquote pardon them so they can really be experiments for whatever they're researching with this monstrous group of beings. Now,
That honestly
the
sounds believable.
doesn't it though?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it? So
Mm.
the guys from the jail have not been given all the details as to what they're getting themselves into. So it's kind of like, but you'll be free, so what does it really matter? You know what I mean? Like when this is all over, you're going to be deemed dead, and then you're going to have a brand new identity. And then you can just go on and live your life like in jail, but we won't kill you. And so
Oh,
that's what's
thank you.
going. Yeah, you're welcome. So that's what's going on there. I'm just one I'm 8 chapters in, and things are still coming together. There's this young woman who has a daughter, and they were having a really rough time. She got pregnant by some guy who was married, and he sold her all the boat of lies, all the stuff. I'm gonna take care of you, blah 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 blah.
Men.
And right. And so, she ends up, just her and the child, they're trying to, get themselves together. And then like a few years later, this guy Bill comes back where he's no longer this like well put together guy, who's got money. And now he's just an effing dirty drunk. and somehow he just ends up living with her. He's very violent. It's a whole situation, and so she kicks him out. And then she and the daughter, I mean, they are like really struggling. She loses her jobs, and she just really can't afford to take care of herself, let alone a child. And she basically just drops her off at, with the nuns. And somewhere along the way, shortly after, we see that the daughter has some kind of a gift of some sort. We don't know what it is, but she's got some kind of gift. Meanwhile, the mom is just completely missing in action. And there are these men who are looking for the little girl, but I don't know why yet. So I'm still in the stages of finding out what's happening, but I am very into this story. And there is a way that Justin Cronin writes that, like, he just pulls me right in. He is a good time. I'm enjoying the passage very much. So I'm glad that I have books 2 and 3, already ready to go, because I feel like once I finish this, I'm going to want to immediately jump into book 2. So that's The Passage by Justin Cronin. And then maybe when I'm done, I'll watch the adaptation, because that was on TV at some point. So yeah, I think Justin Cronin might become a favorite of mine.
Well, we'll see. You can still hear me, right? I'm getting
I
weird
can still hear
messages.
you.
I'm getting weird messages. I maybe need a new docking system. Okay. So I am finally starting book 2 in Her Majesty's Royal Coven. So that's The Shadow Cabinet.
I want to read book 1 so badly, Alyssa. But hang on, is this going to be a trilogy or a longer series? Do you know?
Trilogy. It says
I'm going to wait till it's complete. Oh, okay.
But I think Juno Dawson's coming out with them quite rapid fire. So like
okay.
So you shouldn't have to wait too long, because this just came out. So I mean, I guess I can't talk a lot about that, but the first book is what sold me the first time around was that the first book is taglined as A Discovery of Witches Meets the Craft.
Oh.
I know half the time those things are stupid, but like I love that. Sometimes I'm a sucker. But basically you have this like coven of witches, and there has been this sort of war that's been going on, and they kind of they're kind of like a secret society. There's been this battle that's been going on under the surface, and there's also a battle within the coven between all these women. There's this prophecy about this child that's going to come and sort of ruin everything, and there ends up being this trans girl, Theo, who enters into the mix, and some members of the coven think that Theo's going to be the child that ruins everything, and then other members of the coven are protecting Theo. So that's like a big portion of it. And the interdynamics and the play of the women with each other, the women and their lives outside of the coven. Like one is married, and her husband doesn't really know in the beginning of the book. They have like kids that are starting to show, signs of being witches. So now like you have to tell your husband. There's all kinds of stuff like that. And it's got like a great sort of twisty sort of ending that some people really love, some people were a little annoyed by, and it's got some good like anti-turfy there, and it's fun. I'm finding now that I'm going back into the second one, that I'm enjoying it, but considering how many people there are and one of the things that happens in that twist, I probably should have reread the first one, but we're going to plow through. It's fine. Maybe by book 3, I'll just do a reread of 1 and 2 and get myself up to speed. I've tried to find a few recaps, but there's not a lot of good recaps out there. Everybody's like, spoiler free. No, spoil me. I want a recap.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's fun. It's really good. It's a slightly different witchy story. It's not, I don't know if the Discovery of Witches really works. The Craft probably does, but
okay.
I enjoyed it. It was good. It was good.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I try really hard to not start series and not complete, because what happens is when the next book comes out, I almost always have to read the previous book again. because I've
Yeah.
forgotten details. So, I try to wait, but
I mean, recaps are really helpful because you do remember most things. I might go back and
yeah.
just reread the ending again and give myself a little
Mm,
refresh just because that's really the key to
yeah.
understanding everything that is happening at the start of this book is just remembering how we ended the last one.
Yeah.
Um, there was like death and treachery afoot at the end of it, and it's getting all of the treachery sorted in my head.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
that's the most spoiler-free way for me to describe it.
Okay. Very nice. I like
Yeah,
it. I'm excited.
yeah. So I've gotten some interesting messages from this doc. It's like one of my USBs is apparently drawing too much power, and I don't know what that
Ooh,
means. Because
okay.
the only peripherals that are in there are my mic, so I asked if you could hear me, and
Oh,
my
that's weird.
keyboard. Isn't that weird? So I
It
don't
is
know
weird.
why. Yeah,
It's a mystery.
it is a mystery. I might need a different docking station, but
You
that's fine.
might. Oh
We'll make
man.
do. So if anybody has any good docking stations that are compatible with a Mac, let me know. I bet you Mac has one that's like $400 million.
Exactly. I was ready to say, yeah, like 400,000. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
Well, fingers
well,
crossed that you figure that out.
I will figure it
And
out.
hopefully
Just as
without
long
having to buy a new docking station.
and hopefully without having this ruin our life further.
Yeah. I think we'll be fine. I have hope. I have hope. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty lucky.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll
Um,
see.
so anywho, we're just here to chit chat today, right? Like this
Yeah,
is
we're here
not
to chit chat. We're here to
we're
chit
here
chat.
to chit chat. It's a
We are.
a very cash day.
Yeah.
I think there are a couple things we did want to talk about in general, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
whole well, you want to start with the whole men and how they kick off on bookish social media because I just always love to
Yeah.
have this conversation because I just find it so fascinating. So fascinating.
It is very fascinating. Is it a thing that eh, is it because we feel like it is such a rarity to find a man that reads? Is that what it is? You know what I mean?
Or is it just that like other men subscribe to them in a world of like
Of bros
mostly
supporting bros?
female? Yeah, I mean it's usually mostly female. Like I still think that predominantly it's a space that's filled with women,
Yes, it
but
does seem that way.
it seems like the men when they come on to or when they start channels, they seem to be very like they rock it pretty fast. And I don't get what is the special sauce, you know? Like what is the thing?
Oh, so I have a controversial question. Is it
Yeah,
that they have a special sauce, or is it that men just support other men, period, and women don't
support
support
each
other
other.
women as willingly? I feel like maybe men support other men automatically. Maybe women
That
don't
could
do
be.
that.
That could be. I
You know
mean,
what
we
I
do seem
mean?
to be more yeah, I mean, we do seem to be more particular. Is that a
We're
nice
very
way to say it?
yeah, very much so. Whereas I think with men, it's just that, oh, this is a new dude in the space. We're gonna just support him, and that's it. That's the statement. We're gonna support him. Subscribe, turn on
I
notifications.
don't know. Or maybe they just like dude bros, like they just like is it the kinds of books they read? Maybe that's part of it?
Okay, so from your booktube world, what are the genres you mostly see men talking about? For me, it's fantasy.
Fantasy and lit fic.
For me, it's definitely more fantasy than lit fic in my booktube circle.
I see a lot of lit fic. And it's like new, but also a lot of backlist stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
your typically like broy lit things, like your Pynchons and your I read
Yeah.
Proust and like whatever, the
Right.
pompous stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I just don't know. And I don't think we're gonna like come up with a magic answer here, but it's just so
Right.
weird to me.
Yeah.
So weird to me.
I mean, they do just they grow so
So
quickly.
fast,
It's
right?
like there's this one guy that he popped up on my YouTube feed because I do follow a lot of male fantasy booktubers. And
Mhm.
okay, because here's the other thing. What I found is when I'm looking for people that talk about fantasy, it's the men that I read more like. Whenever I follow a woman who's talking about fantasy, it's always fantasy romance or YA fantasy, which I'm not really interested in. I like it,
Yeah, you
I
don't
like it
read that.
adult. Right. I like it adult. I like it epic and I like it dark,
Mhm.
grim dark. And I don't see like there's like maybe two women that I follow that just talk about grimdark period, but the rest are men. So even when I'm trying to like actively support women with fantasy channels, they just don't read the fantasy that I enjoy reading. So
Yeah.
on the fantasy side, my subscriber list is very heavily male dominated,
Mhm.
you know? So because again, like I found two women that are like hardcore, like adult grimdark or at least adult epic fantasy.
So, like, I feel like I watch predominantly, like, down the middle, maybe a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more women just because there's more
Mm-hmm.
women, but I feel like when they're new people and I watch a man, I see him go, like, up in their subscriber count so much.
Yeah.
Like, there's this account that I just started watching, and I can't it's like Salty Reviews or Salty Book Reviews or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I think that it's 2 women that run it, and they have a really great format. I think their reviews are really good. It's, like,
Yeah.
snappy, and I feel like that's the kind of thing that should kick off, and
Yeah.
it really doesn't. And then I see other people that are a little bit more, like, basic or, like, they're not
Mm-hmm.
putting in as much time or effort, and for
Yep.
whatever reason, they do kick off, and I don't get
Right.
it. But I also don't like I don't think any of us understand how the algorithms work.
Yeah.
I think we are a little bit more picky, um, when we support people, but, I mean, I don't know, you're more discerning when you subscribe to people. I'm just like, "This is
Oh,
cool,
I
subscribe."
am. I am. Okay, and here's why. I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, but so I don't think that it's helpful if I subscribe to someone, but I actually never watch any of their videos. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Like just subscribe just to
yeah.
subscribe. So I really only subscribe if I am truly a watcher of your videos. Because otherwise, like I'm not even giving you any engagement or activity because I'm not watching your channel. What is
Yeah.
a subscribe hit if I'm not actually giving any watch hours to you? I just don't think that's helpful to someone. And and I agree with you also. There are so many good booktubers. Like I'll give you one. I love her. Alana Estelle. I love the way she talks
Never
about
even
books.
heard of her.
See? And listen, I just found her earlier this year, and she only has like 2.58 subscribers. She should have like way more than that. She has such a clean channel. I love how she breaks down books. I just adore what she's doing, but like she can't even like hit 3K. It's
It's
unreal.
it's very strange. It's very
It's
strange to
unreal.
me. But
Yeah, I'm reading this comment. I think
mhm.
that I watch more women in other genres, but when it's for fantasy, it's definitely more men. But for like, the horror and the literary fiction, contemporary fiction, it's more women. It's just that fantasy for me is mostly male dominated.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that is a very male dominated genre in general, like even traditionally. Like think
Yeah,
about how people how like men will jump on you if you say something wrong about like Lord of the Rings or something. Like there's this very like protective, I don't know, like coveting of fantasy by certain men.
yeah,
Um
yeah,
yeah, it's very strange to me.
yeah. I mean, they definitely give off the vibe that they're the keepers of that genre.
They ain't the keepers of that genre.
Yeah, that's the vibe that I get. So very interesting.
It
I
is
don't
very
know.
strange.
I think it's hard for a lot of women on BookTube. I mean, look, just out of the gate, it's not books are not a topic that's quote unquote, sexy.
No.
It's not a tech channel, it's not a business channel, it's not a, cutesy fitness lifestyle channel. So it's hard anyway, just because it's books. So, it's you gotta really have some patience because you've got to put the time in to like see it through.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think sometimes you just what I don't know what makes people just generally kick off sometimes. Like, because people could be going at this for a while and then suddenly they like the algorithm works in their favor or like people find them like the right number of people or whatever. Whatever the magic sauce is. And then, you
I'm
know,
also starting to think that not all, but probably a good number of booktubers brought with them an existing community. Maybe they were on Facebook, maybe they had been on Instagram for many years or Twitter. And so then when they say, "Hey, I just started a channel," all their friends come over and subscribe immediately. I think
I
there's
mean,
some of that too.
I agree with that because you see people that have like 6 videos and have had a channel for like 6 months and they have like 20K and you're like, "Where did you come from?
Exactly. Exactly.
What?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's gotta be
So
part of it.
it's definitely a part of that. Um, I don't know. I commend you for you doing a booktube channel. I cannot do it. I don't
It
think I can
is
be consistent enough. That's why I've never attempted it.
it is it is work. It is a lot of work and very little reward, honestly, at the on the other side. Um, and it's very hard to find the thing that so one of the things with like YouTube algorithm, we'll talk about it since that's what we're talking about it. It really likes you to be like in a niche, right? It likes
Yes.
you to be like the same thing. So
Yeah.
like it wants you to make the same kinds of videos about the same length,
Mm-hmm.
like put them out consistently, all that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And whenever you stray from that, you end up kind of getting like a slap on the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost feels like, especially if you're smaller, that slap on the wrist is much more punitive. Like you're not getting pushed like you would if you were bigger. Like there's not as much like you can't recover from it quite as quickly as like maybe a
Right.
bigger channel because you just have more subscribers or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe you just don't feel it as much as like a little person. And it's frustrating because especially as you're trying to find your niche, um, that can be really frustrating because you can kind of go up and down very cyclically and it's harsh, like the changes in your watch
Mm.
hours and all the other stuff. And then also, it's just hard to then want to consistently make content because if you don't want to consistently make something in a specific niche, like I find it very difficult because I don't read just fantasy and I don't read just lit fic. And
Exactly.
So it wavers back and forth. So like I have really good engagement during Booker because I had like all the people for Booker long list. And now that's waiting and I'm not reading as much lit fic because I don't want to because I did that enough. I did enough of that.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm, consistently read more fantasy for a bit, it'll swing the other way. But you can never like the audience of people with that Venn diagram that want to read literary fiction and fantasy is even smaller than your normal
Mm.
selection of audience for
Uh-huh.
booktube. So it
Yeah.
becomes and then forget it. Like if I feel like the urge to film a vlog now, where does that go? Because
Mm. I
that's
see what
why a
you're
lot of
saying.
people have multiple channels because you can't be like a commentator on whatever commentary channel and then be a gamer and then
Right.
be a vlogger all on one channel. It doesn't work well. The algorithm doesn't work like it. Even if a large
Mm.
portion of your audience, because they like you, say they just like you,
Yeah.
YouTuber, is going to follow you, it's still not gonna. They're not gonna be happy. Like the algorithm, YouTube won't be happy with you
So
having
interesting.
different stuff. It's really annoying.
Wow.
One of my friends was trying something where he like looked at what his average watch time was, and he just started making videos that were that long. And I think they were like it was like under 5 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how that went, so I have to follow up with him. But
Mm.
it was an interesting test. But then also they push things like they being YouTube use shorts feature.
Yeah.
And that's great. And you do get a lot of new viewers, but like you don't get viewers for you get viewers for random viewers. Have you ever gone through
Right.
your shorts feed? Your shorts feed is like the worst curated
Oh my gosh.
grouping of
There
videos you've
is
ever seen in your
no
entire
rhyme or
life.
reason to my shorts feed. Absolutely no rhyme or reason. I'm like, why am I even seeing this?
So sure, like 3,000 people can see this short, but only like
Yeah.
10 people probably care about it.
Eh, there you go. There you go.
So it doesn't, because they'll be like, get like 20% more. Like there's all these things they're sending out with like these emails that are like basically just begging people to do shorts. And
It's like, just please stop trying to be TikTok. Just stop. You know what I mean? Just like, look, YouTube, you got a
I
good thing
mean,
going. You're still the
if
top.
you're gonna be TikTok, that's fine. I mean, sometimes a short is fun. Like it's nice. Like I kind of like it, but like
Yeah.
it has a very different function, I feel like, on YouTube where people predominantly make long form content. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's e it's just different. It's be like, let it be itself. Like, figure
Yeah.
out your own little whatever. I mean, I don't work for YouTube. It's not my job to figure that out, but,
Exactly.
like, figure something out.
Do your job, YouTube.
Exactly.
And stop stressing these creators out
But, I
with
mean,
all
I
of
think
your
it's always
algorithm magic.
I think that's just how, this works, though. I think that
Yeah.
in general, it's just a stressful thing. As I think and then also they change things all the time. You see that on
All the
Instagram, you see that
time.
everywhere. They change the way it works. But the only thing that I find that's consistent is that if you're a dude bro, like once it's not like you make one video, but there's like this tipping point, and once it tips, you skyrocket so much faster.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very strange to me.
Oh, that's a
And
good point about the short form.
coming, I'm coming over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not snappy or quippy or good at short form content.
I mean, I just got to be honest. Like, I just cannot. I don't have the time to do everything. The podcast
Mm,
takes a lot out of me. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
just don't have the time to like spread myself across all these platforms, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Like, I thought I was gonna do TikTok, but like, I don't really want to do book stuff on TikTok, so that's out. Like, I don't like watching book stuff on TikTok. I also don't like creating book stuff on TikTok. So that's just out for me. I'm just a viewer of regular TikTok, you know?
I mean, I go dip in and out. We talked about this in an episode
Yeah.
that's coming up soon. And like I dip in and out. I see things
Yeah.
all wrapped up in the Nate Lemke like drama. So I need to refresh you on Nate Lemke.
That's the gentleman you told me about last
When we
recording
were
session, right?
recording last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, the gentleman with the terribly written book that doesn't do what he thinks it does. And he's
Joke's on
been
you.
going off and trying to use like women to sell his misogynistic book, and like he thinks
Ouch.
he's writing a book about his trauma and like being a sex addict, and really that's not what that is. It's not
Oh,
that. Um it's
this
bad.
feels painful already, and
It's
I feel like I need a
so
Band-Aid
it's so painful.
and
I
peroxide.
Goodreads has suspended reviews on his account, like on his book, because of like spamming, but we're not sure if it's spamming or the fact that there's like the first like 6 reviews are fake 5-star reviews.
Oh my gosh. This
And
sounds
then
like a nightmare.
he allegedly made up a fiance, say many TikToks. This has been going on for a while. He like
Come on.
made up a fiance, and then later had an interview with somebody and said, "Oh, well, actually, I don't. I made that up because I thought it would sound better," or something to that effect. And then it's just, I
What
mean,
is
it's
going
been a ride,
on?
Naomi. It has been a ride. So sometimes it's messy over there, and I enjoy watching the mess.
What is going on with this particular individual?
Oh, well, now he's claiming that he's being like censored, and it's that he's not being, because he can't get reviews on Goodreads, and he Amazon allegedly pulled his ebook, which I don't know if he pulled the ebook and he's lying because he lied about a whole ass fiance.
Oh
So
my
I don't know,
gosh.
like I don't know. You've lost credibility if you ever had any, and
Exactly.
and all this stuff, like all this nonsense, and about how basically the left is censoring me is essentially what he's doing. It's like the whole like these people that
Oh
say
my
they want
gosh.
X, Y,
Come
and Z are
on.
censoring. No, so everybody's saying that your book sucks.
This
Nobody
is
banned your book, sir. They just don't like it.
it's like how embarrassing for you that you're acting like this.
He's so butthurt. It's I shouldn't
Oh, this is
laugh.
embarrassing.
I
I mean,
shouldn't
it's
laugh
kind of
so hard at
funny.
it, but it's like take the man's shovel away. He just keeps digging. He
Right.
needs to stop.
Sounds like you can't help it.
I don't know. I think he's in the mindset of like controversy equals like engagement, which equals I'm gonna have success somehow, like
Oh,
publicity.
poor thing.
But if
If you really
everybody
think that.
reading your I mean, I think it's the kind of thing that works because it gets people to read your stuff, but that doesn't get them to like it. So if everybody hates it
Or
and
like
everybody
you.
keeps talking about it, and then
Mm-hmm.
everybody doesn't like you, like all you're doing, you're not.
Exactly.
I don't know how many people you're like turning to your cause. You
This
know,
sounds just absolutely awful.
it's so messy. It's been going on for like weeks. When did I
It
make
also
my TikTok
sounds
about
like
it?
a very cringy situation where it's like it's so hard to watch, but at the same time you can't look away.
Oh no, you can't. You can't stop. You can't stop watching.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this was like weeks ago, a couple weeks ago.
Oh my goodness. I can't.
Yeah. And I
I
actually
just
read the whole
can't.
stupid book. It's terrible. It's really bad.
Wow. That is how embarrassing for him. I'm just saying.
I
Someone
would
who's
feel
close to him should tell him, please stop talking. Like now.
I don't know. I mean, like how the internet goes hard. Like
Yeah.
he's trying to like put out some narrative that nothing is misogynist. He's not misogynist. Meanwhile, he has this like really dark and creepy Instagram meme account that I think has now gone private. And people
Mm-hmm.
dissected that. People went deep and like pulled up his comments on different girls' pictures and
Mm.
on all these, like, because people go hard. Like once
I
you
know. They
piss
start
off the
dick.
internet, once you
Yeah.
piss off the internet, forget it. Like they went
Yep.
in.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, sometimes
Yep.
you just gotta shut up.
Just let it go, man. Just
Just
let
let
it go. Let it go. Oh, that is really embarrassing.
Really? Okay, right?
I don't
Oh,
know. I realize there's so much book drama that I miss. And I wonder is book Twitter still going strong? Like I wonder what's going on over there since Muskie has changed the name to X. I wonder if the book Twitter folks decided to take leave
disband.
or if they're
They're all on
still
book
there.
talk now.
Right. I do wonder, but because I kind of left the Twitter world a long time ago. So
I
I don't
never
know
really,
what the heck's going on over there.
I never really Twittered. So,
Twitter used to be like my main thing.
you know.
My main thing. But yeah, I do wonder, like, are you all over there still talking books or what's happening?
Probably.
Yeah. Because I still
I
don't
just
think
know.
there's no
I just
there's no real competitor right now. Not really.
no.
So
But I still don't think it's doing well in general.
well, yeah, it's not. And nobody's calling it X. Everyone still says Twitter.
It's Twitter.
You dodo
Sometimes
bird.
I see it on my phone and I'm like, what is this?
Right.
Oh,
Oh, I had a moment
Twitter.
like that. Like what is oh yeah, yeah. Nobody cares.
It looks like the logo for some sort of like dating app for men who want to just date women that are looking to be trophy wives.
It
Like, you know what I mean?
used
Like it looks like the kind of thing that
you
for
know what it looks like
skeevy
to me?
businessmen.
It looks like the logo brand for a car.
Yeah,
That's what it
that's
looks like. When I see that, I immediately visualize a car.
didn't they change
Mm.
it so it's not even chronological anymore? It's like
I
some
don't know
weird
what they're doing over
order. I
there.
don't know. I don't go in there anymore. I really should just take it off my phone. I
I
don't
should
go in there.
too. There's no point. I don't know. I don't know why I still have it on there. However, I'm still on Facebook in those groups
Oh
because
yeah,
I
you
can't
and
help
your
myself.
Facebook groups.
Now
It's
I did
nuts
leave a
over there.
bunch. It's weird over there sometimes. I did leave a bunch of groups. And then I joined some new ones just to see what it was like. Because I think I can't help myself now. It's so interesting. And I think now I know that I am one of the very few who think this, but I find it very hard to find your book people over there. So, okay, you would think that in a Facebook group that you are more apt to find your people, but I haven't because every time I join a group, they really don't read what I read. And so when people don't read what you read, it's just a little bit harder to connect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes it
I,
difficult.
I don't know how Facebook's gonna work. I don't work. I barely use Facebook. I use Facebook for like my Greyhound rescue group that I got
Yeah.
Mercy from.
Yeah.
And sending Jesus pictures of dogs to that need adopting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And occasionally Marketplace. Like that's all I use it for. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't even I have like haven't the foggiest idea how you operate in a Facebook group for books.
I mean, it's I don't know, it's so and some of the groups are a little different. Some of them are actually book clubs too.
Like
But
how does it
again, then
even work? What do you post a picture of a book and be like, I'm reading this, and then everybody
I mean
talks
it's the
under it? Like
same
how does it
um
work?
I mean it's the same thing as if you're posting on Lemonade or Instagram. You post whatever you're gonna post and people comment. You know what I mean? It's it's just that it's
I
in an
just
group or whatever.
I still don't know if I
Uh
need to go to Facebook for that.
I don't think you do.
I
I'm just
don't.
nosy and now I'm involved in this social experiment that I've created for myself. That's what's happening. So
I'm just nosy.
yeah, I'm nosy. Because for a long time I used to wonder like what happens over on Facebook? What do those book folks do over there? Like how do they interact? Like what's going on over there? So I'm finding out what's
Mhm.
going on. I'm finding out what's going on. I'm looking through my blinds, nosy neighbor. That's what I'm
You are
doing.
such a nosy neighbor.
Yeah, I am. I'm one of those people.
I'm like, yeah, just don't kill anybody, and I move
You know?
on.
But it is kind of catty over there. And not just with the women either, the men and the women. Very catty.
Everybody's catty though.
Yeah. However, I am in two like really, really good fantasy sci-fi groups over there. They are like amazing. So I'm having a good time in those two groups. So there's that.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going over there. I'll stick with my messy
You
book talk
look,
drama that I see
you
randomly.
don't need to go over there. You don't need to go over there. I don't even think like I'm still on Lemonade too. But
Mhm.
even Lemonade is like it's getting more active, but it's still like all you see are people who are just posting about the books they found on BookTok, which to me is boring.
It is boring.
You know, I guess like for me, I'm all about book discovery. And I don't have any book discovery on Lemonade. There's nobody over there reading something where I'm like, oh, I haven't read that, or I want to read that.
Yeah. I think it also gets harder because have you found this like now that you work with a bunch of publishers and you're a little bit more tuned into like what's coming out all the time and you're getting it early a lot of the time
Yeah.
that being actually like a consumer of bookish social media can be less engaging because it
Yes.
feels old hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And maybe the problem is I'm chasing the high that I initially had when I first joined Bookstagram.
Yeah.
And I'm just not willing to accept that that time is over.
Yeah, I don't really find many. So there's people I still watch because not because I like them, but I
Mm.
watch them because they read things that I often haven't heard of.
Mm-hmm.
So I only watch them to see if there's something on their like wrap up or whatever that I've never
Yes.
heard of before, and then I can go see if I like want to read it.
Yeah.
But most of the time,
Yeah.
it's like the same books over and over and over again.
I know. I know. I like it's so boring.
It gets a
I'm
little
sorry.
boring.
I love when I come across someone's post and it's like, wow, I've never heard of that book before, or I've never heard of that author before. And now I'm excited because I've just discovered like something new. But when I'm
Yeah.
on a social media platform and I keep seeing the same effing 15 TikTok recommended books, I'm annoyed and I'm extra bored. How many
It,
times can I comment on a post about a freaking Colleen Hoover book or that I don't know, name any TikTok, like it's boring. It's boring.
it is. It does get boring. It does get really boring.
Right. Like, I don't care what you read. It's just that I want to see new stuff because I'm not inspired.
But I think that's the problem with the short form content is especially for TikTok because TikTok has the algorithm is good at curating a feed that is specific to
Mm-hmm.
things you have looked at before, as opposed to like shorts, which who knows what you're gonna get. And I think that then that breeds an even weirder like thing on shorts because you're just watching things you really don't care about, but you're like, why are you sending me this? And now it thinks you like it, and you're like, I don't
Exactly.
like
And now
this,
it's
but
giving you
why are you
more.
sending? I don't want more of this.
Now it's giving you
But I
more.
think BookTok's really good at curating an FYP for you. And so
Yeah.
that I think just makes it even worse because it thinks you just want to keep seeing the same books over and over again. So to like
Yeah.
break out of that, it's hard.
So
Also, I think
here's
that books is a hard thing for an algorithm to work with, right? Because you
thank
have
you. I
all
so
these
agree.
little things that
I
funnel
so
you into
agree.
different areas, and it's very difficult to create an algorithm that is going
I
to capture
totally
what reading tastes
1000%
are
agree with
like.
you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing that slightly annoys me about TikTok and the big box bookstores and the Target and Walmart book sections. Okay. So, and this is just what I see on Lemonade, which is everybody goes to Barnes and Noble over there. Okay. And they hit up the
Mhm.
Target book section real hard. I never knew so many people shop at Barnes and Noble like this. It's like, man, y'all are dropping some major dollars on these effing books, especially the backless ones. Y'all are
No, thank you.
crazy. Y'all are crazy for doing that, but do you? Um, so what I noticed is, and I really paid attention the last like handful of times I've gone to my own Target, because I never really go in the book section at Target. Like for what? But I've been going purposely because I'm
For
trying to
what?
see well, for what? Because I want to see like what I'm seeing posted on Lemonade every single day. Is that what's in my Target stores too? And
Probably.
so the issue that I have is they're really just stocking their book sections, the Targets and the Walmarts, and then the Barnes and Noble, the Books a Million, those tables, they're just stocking them with the TikTok favorites, right?
Mhm.
So let's say that you live in a town where, or a city where you only have Target, you don't really have, because everybody does have libraries, you don't have a library and you don't have any bookstores, you just have Target. And I just think about all of the books that you don't even know exist, because all
Mhm.
Target wants to do is look at TikTok and see that it's an instant hit, and
Mhm.
therefore that's going to correlate into an instant sale, and that's all you stock your stores with. But like, what a
Yeah.
disservice, like, to readers. It's like there are just so many more books than what's on. It's just so many more than the same. Let me just be generous. The same 25 books that are being recommended currently on TikTok. There's just so many more. And so the
I also
last times I went to my Target, I looked and I was like, wow, this is really just TikTok, but in person. It's
but I
not
also
like
think
a plentiful selection of books.
yeah. But I also think a lot of those books are like, not to knock commercial fiction, but like a lot of that is just like it's commercial fiction. It's written to be like consumed by the masses. And people are missing out on a lot of books that are not commercially written. I mean, I think a lot of people hear the term lit fic and think that
Mm-hmm.
the book is going to be like stodgy or like above them or like difficult
Yeah.
to comprehend or something like pretentious. And yes, that exists.
Sometimes.
But there's
Sometimes.
stuff that isn't. And
Yeah.
I think that I honestly think lit fic's an even broader term than it really needs to be, because I think that there is just like contemporary lit, or there's
They
like
they
whatever.
just
There's a lot
bleed
of
into
things
each
that
other.
get kind of captured under that lit fic umbrella that people
Mm-hmm.
would really, really love. And I feel like people need to branch out. The amount of people that are like scared to try different litfic. Like if you're stuck, right? How many people are like, I'm in a reading slump. I just can't read. Like I'm so bored. I hate everything. Whatever. Um, read something else.
Yeah.
Just read something else. Like if you only read mystery thrillers and now you're bored and you hate everything because it's so predictable or whatever, just go through a litany of
Right.
reasons why you're bored of reading. Try
Yeah.
something else. And if you don't like it, try another thing, because it's not reading that you're bored of necessarily. It's that you probably burnt yourself out on a genre.
Exactly.
There's other things to read.
Exactly.
And that's why I read so many different things. Because if I read
Mm-hmm.
one thing, if I had to niche down to make a channel that was successful, um, I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind.
Yes. I could not do it. I could not do it. There's no way I could ever just pick one genre to read. No,
No.
absolutely not. Game over.
Mm-mm.
It couldn't. I would be so unhappy.
Uh-huh.
So unhappy. I need the variety.
I'd be miserable. Sometimes I want something fun and frivolous. Sometimes I
Yeah.
want something that's gonna make me want to just cry for hours.
Right.
And, and sometimes I want something completely different. Like right now
Right.
I'm reading Shadow Cabinet, right? Like I said, I'm reading
Mm-hmm.
a fantasy. I've been reading a poetry collection I've been
Mm-hmm.
throwing in a lot more poetry just to like have on the go. I keep it in like my pocket. I read a little bit. I read it on break. I read it like here, there, and anywhere.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty portable.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe poetry is not your thing, but there's might be something that's like that
Yeah.
for you. Or maybe just try poetry because you never know. Um, I just finished a horror book. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have more lit fic coming, even though I probably shouldn't. I should take a break, but I'm not going
Should
to.
we though? No, bring it on. Bring it
That's you. That's
on.
you. That's you. You didn't read the entire Booker long list in the short
You're
period of
right,
time.
ma'am. You are absolutely right. I said to myself, I said, self, don't play yourself. Don't play yourself. You know you're not in the mood to do this, so just don't even attempt to do it. Don't.
Yes. Well, I have teed up next to come in when I have a little bit of bandwidth to put another book in. High Time, which
Oh, I
is
have that.
the Hannah Rothschild book. I have that
When are you
teed up,
starting
and then
that?
maybe sometime next week.
Okay.
Because I
Ding me
have a
when you
couple more
start.
days of work. I work tomorrow night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and then I'm off until the 25th.
Okay, text me when you start High Time and I'll start too.
And then Death Valley, the new
Oh yeah, the Melissa
Melissa
Broder.
Broder.
Yeah.
And like, those two could be put, somebody could be like lit fic to you because they don't
Mm-hmm.
read either of those things. And those are such different books.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I feel
for
like
sure.
lit fic has become this very generalized category. And then
I feel
it's a
like that
very
too.
generalized category that comes with fears. Like people are like, I can't read that. What do you mean?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
yeah. Seriously. I think in general, I hope that readers stop putting limitations on themselves. And like you said, branch out. Even let's just take fantasy, for example. Fantasy is not just fantasy romance, people.
Oh my
There's
God,
like
yeah.
there's like so many subgenres of fantasy. Like you can read fantasy only all year long and be reading different stuff. Like it's just not one thing. It's just not your Sarah J. Maas and your Fourth Wing. Fantasy is so big, and look, do not be afraid to branch out into like that good old backlist fantasy. You know how long fantasy
Mhm.
has been, written? Like, come on, like, do not be afraid. Just get on out there. Just try some stuff. Peruse the
Yeah.
bookstore, your library, read a little bit of the synopsis, or maybe read a couple of pages, and just like if it makes you feel like, oh, I'm into this, buy it or check it out. Don't be afraid.
I just feel like you don't know what you like until you try it. I mean,
Boom, that part.
just because you tried Donna Tartt doesn't mean that all of lit fic is bad for you. Maybe you don't like Donna Tartt.
That's such a good point.
Maybe try somebody else.
That is such a good point.
Did you find Shiggy Bane boring? Well, don't read a
Right.
book like that. Read a book like, I don't
Exactly.
know, something else.
Exactly.
Something
Exactly.
more fun. Maybe something messier. Maybe something like classics. Like people are like, I hate classics. All right,
And I'm like,
well,
what do you mean? There's some great ones out
which
there.
ones?
Yeah.
Which ones? Because there
Yeah.
are like any books, there are bad ones, there are good ones, there are ones that are neither bad nor good. You just don't connect with them. There,
Exactly.
you just have to be prepared for language that you're not used to when you read
Yeah.
the like sucker punch of racism that you have to be prepared
Exactly.
for.
Exactly.
Because you were
But
cruising along and everything was fine, and now you're like, why did you say that? Oh,
exactly.
because it's 1902, and that's why.
Eh, there you go. There you go. There you go. You know, a lot of people, you see this question when people post like all the time, especially on Facebook. Oh, what's your reading goal for the month? My answer is always to
To
stay
read.
curious and adventurous in my reading. That is the only goal that I have. Period. That's it. I don't ever
I
want to be afraid to try new things. Just stay curious and adventurous. That's it.
I mean, I obviously make TBRs. Some of it's
Yeah.
because of YouTube, but a lot of it's
Yeah.
because I need a focus because otherwise I have a lot of books. Like
Yeah.
I will not read anything. So I make myself a focus list
Yeah.
and I do not stay focused on it, but I at least get some of them done,
Oh, that's
right?
funny.
Like and then like Shadow Cabinet I had on for last month and I had
Yeah.
to just accept the fact that I wasn't going to get it done last month. I was not going to read it. So I was like, "You know what? We'll
Yeah.
read it next month."
Yeah.
And some books just keep getting kicked down the line and that's
And that's
fine.
okay.
But
That's okay.
because I enjoy the things that I read instead of reading that thing. And
Right.
and and I was allowing myself room to have a bit of mood reading, but then also a little bit of strategic planning to get through chunks of these walls of books that I have in my house. Because otherwise, why are they here?
Okay. Mood reading. Can we
Mhm.
just for a minute? Because I thought I was a mood reader, but every time I see someone explain how they're a mood reader, I'm like, no, that is not what I do. And I'm like, so am I and what am I? I don't understand. So for me, being a mood reader just means like I just go to my shelves and I just kind of peruse the shelves and like whatever I'm in the mood to read, I take it off the shelf and I read it. But I
That
hear
sounds like
many
mood reading.
people, that's what I thought. That feels like mood reading to me. But I see so many people talk about they're a mood reader and they have such a hard time actually finishing books because they are in the mood for something and then they get off that one thing and they move to another, but they actually never really finish books.
That just sounds like you don't like the books you're reading to me, but what do I know? I don't read like that.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, that's not how I classify myself in terms of mood reading. I always complete books. I just don't set TBRs because I just want to go with the flow. And it's like a
I
weekly
DNF
choosing
books.
from these shelves.
I definitely DNF books. But I don't DNF them because I've lost the mood to read them. I DNF them because I
Yeah.
absolutely hate the experience of what I'm reading.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I consider mood reading like I've had a plan, right? Because I've
Mm-hmm.
decided, I kind of want to do this. And I generally have a mood for what I want to read. Like I want to read more fantasy right now. And as a very general mood. But like the mood is maybe somewhere into the month I see something and I'm like, "You know what? You're right. I'm in the mood to read that book." And so I go read that book that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't on my list.
Yeah.
Um, or I'm just also easily influenced by buddy reads. So people are like, "Hey, do you want to buddy read this with me?" And I have no business buddy reading it with people. And agree to it. And now I'm
That's funny.
like trying to keep up with people that are like reading something
Yeah.
when I should have said no because I have no time to read it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's been happening a lot lately.
Yeah. That's funny.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought that was really funny. It's like, oh, this is It started, it made me question, like, am I a mood reader? Because that's not what I'm experiencing.
I mean, maybe mood reading isn't a monolith. We all experience
I
mood
guess
reading
it's
in
not.
different ways,
I guess it's
but
not.
I will say that the way that you described it, as other people describing it, does sound to me like people just not liking what they're reading. But obviously, I'm not
Yeah.
experiencing it, so I don't know. But if
Right.
I was experiencing that, that's how it would be for me. I know that. Like
Yeah.
that's what I would consider that feeling.
Right. Right. Yeah. I've stopped calling myself a mood reader. I just say I just read. I just read, you know.
Yeah.
Look, I have zero rules around there's just no rules. I have no rules. I have no structure. I just pick books and I read them. It is just not that serious for me. I just pick
I
books
mean,
and I read them.
it really shouldn't be that serious. I think what really gets me is when
Tell
like
the internet that. Tell the
what really
internet
gets
that.
what gets me is when like all my friends are reading a book and then I'm not reading it and everybody like on the Discord is talking and I'm like, but like everybody's reading Northwoods and I'm not reading Northwoods. But do I need to read North?
I don't know. You know, reading really is fun for me, which
Mhm.
means that I really don't like putting like unnecessary pressure or stress around it. But folks are out here stressed out about reading, and I'm trying to figure out why.
Social media. In all
Yeah.
honesty, it's social media because somehow in the all of that you you start to develop feelings of that don't need to exist. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Jane read 30 books this month. I feel really bad. I only read 5. Why? You're not Jane. What does Jane have going on in her life? Does Jane have more time than you? Does Jane have children? Does Jane have a job? Does Jane read
Yeah.
faster? Does she have a long commute and can listen to audiobooks at 3 times speed and you can't? Because whatever, most people, a
Yeah.
lot of people can't listen to like chipmunks telling them a book. Like, it's we're all different people. But that's just generally how I feel about social media. Like I see
Yeah.
things all the time and you see people make these like big bold with their whole chest comments or like declarations on things like they speak for entire communities or like their
Yeah.
opinion is everything and it's like, you know what? Can people just like go outside and like sit on the ground and remember what like that there is a world outside of all of this, and that
Yeah.
not everybody, like there are different people, like everybody, I don't care who you are. If you are in a bubble, take yourself out of your bubble for a minute and go experience other people, because there is more to this world than half the shit that we get like wrapped up in. And it doesn't mean that
Yeah.
there are valid points and discussions and things going on, but like maybe we don't need to be like so invested to the point where we're like there's just like anger or
Yeah.
like stress. Like
Well,
maybe
I
we could
will
just like talk about stuff.
I will say this though. So, and I guess it's that male woman thing, right? Women, and I'm taking myself out of this category because I don't know, like guilt and shame are very serious, strong words for
Mhm.
me. I take words really seriously because I think words have meaning.
They do.
Um, and I just was not raised to just say shit out of my mouth that really is not applicable to me, or is an unfounded emotion or feeling. So like you will not hear me throwing around the world like guilty and shit. Like I don't do that. That's real
Mhm.
serious to me. But and men don't do it either. Okay.
Yeah.
But women do all the time. Oh,
I
I feel
don't feel
so guilty.
guilty about shit.
Yeah, I feel so guilty for having all these books and I haven't read them yet. Like what? Like this is wasted energy. It is wasted
Oh, I
energy.
don't feel guilty. I just wanna get through them, so
No,
I have to have a strategic. I want to read them, that's why
I
they're
get it.
there. So
I
I
want to
have a
read them too.
strategic. So I'm
I
a
want to read them
strategic
too.
plan is to, make a plan and then fail to meet my plan, but I'm
But I don't
trying.
feel guilty because I have like
I don't
a
feel bad about it
thousand
at
books I
all.
haven't read yet. They will get read
Nope.
at some point, or maybe they won't.
Yeah,
I don't
I
care. I don't
inhale
know.
things
I
all the
don't
time.
care. Yeah, but there's so much guilt wrapped around and things, or like, oh, I'm ashamed to say, like, but I haven't read this author. Are you really ashamed, or are you just throwing that word? Like, I don't know. It's very weird, but I only see women do it. Men don't do that.
Yeah, men
So,
don't
like
do
in
that.
general, we need to like just throw away the guilt and the shame. It ain't that deep. It's just books.
Sometimes I'm
Just books.
shocked that I haven't read somebody because it just makes so much sense, but I don't think I've ever
Uh,
been, like,
yeah,
ashamed.
shocked,
You're
but
like,
not
"How did
shamed.
I not read this person?"
Yeah, like how I feel about Ann Petrie or Petrie, however
And
you
you're
say it.
like, "What?"
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah, we do like to be, like, guilty and ashamed and all these other nonsense
yeah. Yeah,
responses to.
those are just really heavy words, in my opinion. It's like you
Mhm.
just should not be throwing that shit around like that.
Well, I just think the internet is a very strange place sometimes, and, when you have, like, real life friends and you are sort of observing the internet and then you talk about things with your real life friends, I feel like those are the real conversations, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
this other conversation sometimes that's happening that's maybe part performative, maybe just very influenced by the fact that you feel like you're kind of on a stage
Mm.
for people on social media,
Ooh,
and
you're
it
making some
makes.
good points.
And to comments don't negate, like, this doesn't mean that people don't have valid points underneath it all, or there aren't things that are worth talking about. It's just the way things get done, or to the extent they get said or done or talked about. Like, you're like, I don't know. I don't know if that's healthy
Mm.
for us, I guess is my point. I don't know if it's healthy for us to kind of always be on the precipice of drama.
Yeah, or like there's also like a lot of indecisiveness, and I'm like, but like, do you really need help with that, or you just don't know what else? Like, you don't know what else to put. I don't know. It's weird.
Internet's
I,
just weird. It's a weird place.
it is a weird place. It's a very weird place. I don't know. When I'm on these social media apps and I'm like, I don't know, like, did you really mean that? Like, are you serious right now? Like, shit, do I take this question? Can you really not decide this on your own? I'm very confused. Do you really need me to
Mhm.
tell you what book to start reading? Like, I don't know, girl. These are your books. Whichever
Yeah,
one you feel
that's
like
weird.
reading. Like, I don't know. Like, it's weird. It's very
There's weird
strange
stuff, and, like, I've
to
watched
me.
people spiral over things, like, the spirals that happened when the long list for the Booker was announced, and how it
What
didn't have Demon
spirals?
Copperhead, because it didn't have Demon Copperhead, and how do you
Oh,
have a
that's right. You
list
were
of the
telling me about that.
and, like, it's not like there's anything wrong with being like, "I can't believe Demon Copperhead wasn't longlisted."
Right.
It's the like vehemence of people's anger and disappointment and upset, and like I'm never reading the book, or like the extent that people went to. And I don't think that like without social media it would be quite like that. Like maybe yeah, there'd be somebody, because there's always somebody, right? But like if it all just feeds off of each other, it's very insidious. So like whereas you
It's
might have
very
been a little bit
pile on.
annoyed,
It's
yeah,
all
you may have
pile
been
on.
annoyed, but now you've got like 20 other people that are in a like a little commenty echo chamber with you, and they're all bitching about it. And now
Yeah.
suddenly you're irate, right? Like you're really upset about it. So I don't know, it's strange. So I was like, you know what? Go
Yeah.
out, put your phone down, go outside.
The whole time, maybe Barbara was like, don't submit this book. I've done
You
enough.
still don't even know if it was ever submitted. And I think that's
Right.
the
It's, yeah,
funniest thing. It's like it
you don't
may
even know.
never have even been submitted for the Booker, and people were out here losing their minds.
I don't know. Book community, can we just relax? Can we just relax a
Can
little
we
bit?
just read
Like, can
books
we
and talk
just
about
read
them?
books and just relax? Like, it is okay. Like, just relax. This is supposed to be fun. Like, chill.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah.
Take a beat. It's gonna be okay. You know? And it's also okay to march to the rhythm of your own drum. That's okay too. There's
Also,
like,
authors, stop getting butthurt when people don't like your books. Like you made a thing, you put it out in the world. You can get butthurt, that's fine, but get butthurt
but
off
keep
the
it to
internet.
yourself.
Yeah.
Keep it to yourself.
A lot of good luck when you put it out there, because
Yeah.
you are expected to be judged when you put something out into the world to be judged.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, listen, I just want to read books and have fun.
Mhm.
That's all I really want to do. I just want to just keep enjoying reading books. I do not want any pressure associated with it. Just want to have a good old time reading words on pages.
Yeah, the only time I ever felt pressure, the only time I ever was trying to get that stupid Booker long list done, and that was horrendous. That was like for my mental
But
health.
you went through it like a champ.
I
Come
did
on
it.
now. You did.
I did
You
it.
got those reviews up on top. Like, you were rolling through that list. Hats off to you.
I
Hats
did
off to
reread
you.
one. I reread one this month in
Which one?
Study for Obedience, because I had a
Oh,
feeling that I didn't give it the like mental time that I needed, 'cause it was the last one I read that it
okay.
deserved, I mean. And I do like it more. It's been,
Okay.
and I kind of knew that. I kind of knew that I wasn't sure about my feelings on it, and not in like a necessarily negative way. Like I felt like
Yeah.
I was not concentrating enough to give it a fair judgment. It's definitely
Yeah.
better than I thought it was. It's not stellar. The writing is stellar, but the book itself could, I don't know, need something else.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow. Yeah. Well,
I'm not rereading anymore.
that's my PSA
Mr.
for the
PSA, can we
day.
just make reading fun again?
Can we just make it fun again? Seriously. Can
And
we
like,
just make it
yes,
fun again?
sometimes there's going to be problems and we can talk about it, but can we not go crazy about it? Like, can we,
Yeah. Yeah.
can we have nuanced, calm discussions?
Exactly. Exactly. You know? I don't know.
Mhm.
That's my take. That's my take. I want to keep it light and fun.
Plain
So,
fluffy.
yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Do you want some knitting drama? Do you want some knitting
Yes.
world drama?
Yes,
Okay.
because first of all, like knitting and drama don't seem to go together, but
Oh, they
apparently,
go so hard.
right.
So
Like, yes,
hard.
so bring it, yes.
So there is every year this person that puts out this like mystery shawl knit along. So like every week you get a chunk of
Oh,
the pattern, right? And some of my friends are doing it. And so we got our first clue like last week. And so I just decided to join. So I'm behind. So I've been like trying to pick my yarn, which is a whole drama. I haven't picked my yarn yet. I don't know what to do. I have too many choices. Anyway, so some people have already started knitting it, this chunk, right? And it's supposed to be this like geometric square pattern. And I'm not going to say the word, but as they are making this, there's rectangular blocks that keep pinwheeling from each other. And
huh.
it starts to look like a particular hate.
Oh, oh,
And I'm
oh,
looking
okay.
at people's pictures and I'm like, well, I guess I can kind of like when it's finally done, it doesn't look like it. But
Right.
as it's growing,
You're like,
I
wait a
can
minute.
understand, and it's just close enough, and you've already got the seed planted in your brain. So
Yeah.
now you can't unsee the thing you're seeing.
Gosh.
So I just got like yesterday an email with a new Clue one that does not contain any potentially hateful.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's so funny, but like,
But imagine you act like I do believe that it was an accident
yeah.
because when you look at it, it's not actually that. It's just the way it grows and it looks like it. But like, and that's not even the juiciest of like knitting drama. There's some fantastic knitting drama, let me tell you.
Gosh, knitting and drama just don't seem to go together. It doesn't feel like
There's
peanut butter and
so much
jelly.
there's so much crafting drama. You have no idea.
What it
It's
like, come on.
so
I thought
good.
crafting was supposed to make people happy and make you feel
No.
carefree. How do we have time for drama?
No.
You got your knitting and your little cricket machines. Where does the drama come in? I just
So there's an entire social media platform just for like fiber crafts and
no
things get
way. What is it called?
yeah, Ravelry. I haven't been years, but it got real messy a few years back and I stopped. Like they were like
What?
booting off or removing like anything that even like was tangentially right wing, which is
Wow.
weird. Like is weird to me. Like it just why are we censoring ourselves? Like not that obviously if it's like hateful, get rid of it. But like
Yeah.
just because somebody has a differing view from you, we don't need to immediately jump to like censorship.
Right.
And there were all kinds of other things. There's like been like yarn companies that don't send their yarn. Oh, yes, Naomi, there's so much drama.
Alyssa, I am so
It's juicy.
I am
Juicy.
so shocked by what you're telling me right now.
Yeah,
So
knitting is
this just really like I guess there really is drama in every
Mhm,
niche community.
mhm,
That is hilarious.
mhm.
I'm shocked. I'm truly shocked.
Why?
I don't know. It's just I mean like listen, when I think about knitting, I just don't think about anyone having any kind of drama.
N- Someone shares the amazing knitting drama group. You need to listen to this, Naomi. I probably know it. I randomly saw a YouTube video recently refreshing some old drama about one of the dyeing companies. I can't remember what their name was, but because there's been so many different like small dyeing companies. Because what happens is like a company will get really big. So
Yeah.
sometimes you'll have like this indie dyer. There's lots of drama that happens, but this seems to happen often. It's like you'll have like an indie dyer gets like really big, and then there's like drama that ends up surrounding them somehow. Usually
Oh my
something to do with
gosh.
like they get like too big and then they can't fulfill orders or something happens and then they fall out of favor, and then there's the rise of somebody else. It's
What?
mhm. There are like yarn brands of like the that are become very trendy. And like when you go to like craft like the knitting fairs, like the lines are like out, like they're so long. And um I've you're like, I don't get why. Like one year I finally got something that had been like the hot thing, and I was like, I'm not understand. Like it was fine, but like you're like, I don't get why you would want to wait on like a 40-minute line for it.
Just to say you haven't?
Knitting man,
I just this is so funny to me. Um
we need to go to this normal gossip
normal,
podcast.
yes.
Thank you, Joanna, and you need to get yourself
I
some knitting.
I don't even know what to say. So funny to me. This is
It's
really,
just
really funny to me.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Also
There's
makes me
drama
want to
in
knit
every
something.
community.
I
You
mean,
can do you can do the
clearly.
knit along with me.
I don't even know. I
Oh,
don't know anything. I
I meant
don't
to work on my sweater while we were doing this live, but I got so discombobulated that I didn't.
Oh, Joanna gave the episode. I'm going on Apple Podcasts now to pull it up and save it so I can listen to it this weekend.
I feel like
Oh, they
that's
have
the name
such
of
a
like
They have a
Every
really
girl's friend
great.
group is.
They have a great podcast cover. Thanks for sharing that, Joanna.
I think if you had to name every girl's friend group, it would be "Can I say something bitchy?"
Right? Right.
Just
Yeah.
having a drink. Can I say something bitchy right now?
Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, knitting looks like a lot of fun. I'm a complete noob, okay? I have crocheted
Mhm.
once in my life. Once. Okay.
You
And
know they're
I
different
was
crafts,
in
right?
junior high school. That's how long it's been because I'm an old lady. Okay. So
You know they're different crafts, right?
I'm just saying it involved the
Okay.
needle. It
I'm just
involved the needle and yarn. And
d
that's the only thing I've done with needle and yarn. The only
I mean, like,
thing.
I guess I could teach you to knit.
I mean, be honest with me. Like, is it hard to get going?
Um, I don't think so. I think it depends on the person. I think the question is whether or not you actually enjoy it. I think the hardest part learning it is, it takes a little time to learn, but if you're enjoying it, I don't think it's difficult. But I think if
Okay.
you absolutely hate everything about it, you're never gonna like it. Like
I
I
mean, if I
really,
could just try to like knit like a simple scarf for myself, just to
yeah,
see like how that goes,
yeah,
I feel, oh, there it is. Can I say something bitchy? Okay, January 19th. Okay, all right.
we got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Navy has some listening. She's
I'm
gonna
saving
deep
that
into the
episode.
gossip.
Yeah, I gotta see what it's about. I have to see what they were talking about because I'm intrigued. I'm
Yeah,
intrigued.
there's always some drama. Um, but yeah, I think you could knit something. And so, like, I don't like crochet, not because I
Mm-hmm.
can't crochet, I just do not care.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if I have to put a border on something, I can. I
Yeah.
don't like it. I've
I
never made a
I
little
had to.
animal. Everybody who crochets, I feel like makes little animals. I can't make. I'm like, I don't care.
No. Let me tell you something. This was when I was in junior high school. I was a dance major all my life, even in school. And for this one piece that we were performing, we had to make crocheted bodysuits. So we had unitards that were dyed green on one side, orange on the other, and then we had to crochet our own bodysuit to go over it. It was a effing nightmare. It was so hard. It looked kind of amazing when I was done, but the stress of that, I don't even know how I got through it. This was like 7th grade.
That's a lot of crochet for somebody who hasn't crocheted a
That's what we
whole
all had to
body's
do.
worth.
Yeah, a whole
A
bodysuit
whole
for
body's
ourselves.
worth. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no.
yeah.
I think crochet technically goes faster than knitting, but I also don't really like the fabric that crochet makes, so
Mm.
I don't like it.
It was very hard. It's supposed to look like spider webs. It was very hard. It's very, very hard. And I
But you
cried
did
multiple
it.
times.
You did
I
it.
cried multiple times because I was so annoyed and
And you didn't
so
make your mom do
frustrated.
it for you?
No, my dance teacher would know.
How?
I just felt like she would know. And
How?
she told me to do it.
I would have just given it to one of my aunts who likes to crochet and be like, "Bitch,
I
do this."
listen, I was not the kid who was like, I could not lie to authority. I just could not do it. I was like, she will know. She's gonna ask me, she's gonna look me in my eyes, and she's gonna freaking know.
You didn't have an older
And
brother,
then
so
what?
you didn't learn that you could lie all the time.
You're right, because I'm the oldest.
Yeah, you
I'm
didn't
the
learn that.
oldest. Yeah, like remember, my brother and I are 13 years apart. I'm the oldest.
Ah,
So, but I got
hot
through it.
brother.
Yeah, I got through it. I want Siri to stop talking to me. She's so nosy. You're not a part of this live episode.
Ah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that's your little
Well, thank you
fun
for that.
tidbit.
That was a good time. Thank you for that.
You get bored with your own drama sometimes. You need to like dip into other
Different to another
communities'
community.
dramas just to get, freshen it up. Like we've been fighting about the same stuff in the book world for
I
ever.
know. We are not even very creative about it. It's just the same humdrum of drama every time.
let's just talk about separating the art from the artist for the 900th time and realize that
Yeah.
we can't come to a definitive conclusion on that because that is a personal decision.
Well, listen, also, you must really consider for people who have some sort of home library, there are books on there that are probably problematic that you don't
Yeah.
even know yet. Or maybe, and you probably won't know because the authors are long gone and they were never exposed. I mean, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to make sometimes you just have to make your own decisions in life. Like what are you
Yeah.
okay with?
I saw someone post that before they buy a book, they do like all this research to see if the author is problematic. I'm not doing that. I want to tell you, I'm never going to do that. I just buy
No,
books. I'm
I
not going to
can't
do
do
that. I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry. But I'm also not a person who's buying like one book a month either. I don't bookshop a lot. But when I do,
She gets 30 books.
well, I get a lot of books. You think I'm going to be sitting up in McKay like, no, I'm shopping. I'm shopping. That's what's happening. I'm just being honest.
I know.
I'm just
I
being
appreciate your
honest. Like
honesty.
I'm not going to do that. So
But I mean, I don't think like if that's how you wanna consume things, there's nothing
yeah,
wrong with that.
do
I just don't
you?
consume things like that.
Yeah, do you? Look, whatever makes you helps you sleep at night.
Mhm.
That's what I say.
But that's what I would say. Like people, I feel like go from this is what I do personally, or this is how I feel personally, or this is what personally like it's very personal, and then they
Yeah,
decide that that thing applies to
to
everybody,
everyone.
and that
Mhm.
is not often the case.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
more to it. There's more
yeah,
to whatever we're talking about than whatever you personally experienced, and it doesn't invalidate your own feelings or your own experience or any of that. But there's other things, other people, there's other experiences, there's other cultures, there's a whole
exactly.
big world out there. So
Yeah, I don't care about any of it. I just want readers to be more happy. Just please be happy. Please
yeah,
be
I mean, I
happy
don't
and
care
just
about anything.
I don't just please be happy and please like calm down. Just be happy. Let's just read our books and be happy.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm asking a lot, but I'm just
You
saying,
are.
can we just read our books and be happy and like let that be that? It's like kind of like a can we all get along, kumbaya
No,
kind of moment. Can we just read
no,
our books and just be happy?
no. That's a
Okay.
nice thought.
You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no.
It's too much stress around reading now. It's just so weird. It's unnecessary. Just
But I
let's
don't think
read
that
and be
like
happy.
regular people feel like that.
Okay, stop right there. Okay. Okay. Regular people. This is so weird. What are the regular people? I mean,
People
what
not
is
on like social
what's a
media.
regular reader?
The
Readers that
people
aren't
that
on social
aren't
media at all?
actively engaged in like any sort of bookish social media, which most people I feel like aren't.
You feel like most people aren't. Is that true? I wonder. What are the numbers? Is that true?
I mean, I don't know how to poll this for you because
I don't
anybody you're going
either.
to poll is actively engaged in bookish social
That's
media,
it's
so
so
it's a skewed
true.
experiment. But I
It's
don't
so
think that like
true.
your average reader, it may, now that book talk is something that people talk about, perhaps people dabble, but like most people, like
Yeah.
Jesus doesn't know anything that's happening. He just buys books and reads them. He lives
Yeah,
in blissful
it's
ignorance of the world and just buys books and reads them.
he's probably happier too. Hmm.
He also says hello to the world. So Jesus says hello.
Hello,
He, sa-
Jesus.
he says he's not watching, but he is listening.
I love it. He's my friend. Yeah, I
Me
do
too.
wonder like what do we consider a regular reader now? I don't
The
know.
people that aren't on social media talking about books 24/7, Naomi, those are regular readers.
And I guess regular readers read, what do they say? They read 12 books a
Like
year.
2 books a year or something.
No, I think it's like 12. I think it's like 12 or 14 books a year.
I thought it was like single digits.
I thought it was double. Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up.
Okay.
You
Oh
know,
god.
I'm gonna say something, and many people probably won't like it. I think I think the worst thing Goodreads ever did was create that Goodreads reading challenge.
Okay, you're right.
12 or 14.
So the average person reads about 14 books a year, which is pretty good
Okay.
considering that's more than one book a month. However, the
Yeah.
median average for the whole population is 4 books per year.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah, I think the worst thing Goodreads ever did was create that annual reading challenge. I think it's just, I don't know, it's just changed the dynamic of reading. And it's just become very competitive and just ridiculous. I wish they would have never created it. I secretly like hope that they just get rid of it, but that's where we are.
Because it's like a big engagement thing for them. They won't.
I mean,
Storygraph
yeah,
has it. Like, I don't know. I find it
yeah.
interesting to see how many books I read every year. And I don't know if I care about my goal.
You don't care. Listen, you don't care like I don't care, because
I pick
at the end of the day, you're
number.
going to read generally the same amount every year anyway.
Mhm.
And it doesn't like mean anything, but I don't know, the way people get so wrapped up in it, it's like, it's okay. It's okay,
No,
guys.
it's not okay.
It's okay.
The internet says it's not okay.
I'm just saying, I don't know. I am not about unnecessary stress.
I mean, I'm not stressed. I ain't bothered.
No, you're not, but I'm just thinking about what we see on the good socials. It's like, it's a lot of stress for nothing, but okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have to eat breakfast. I know that it's the middle of the night for most of you, but I have to eat breakfast.
Yeah.
I haven't had breakfast.
Well, I have to get out of here soon.
So do you have a book recommendation?
I do. It's one of my favorite books from 2019. I think I want to read it again. It's Night Film by Marisha Pessel. I'm gonna read the inside.
Why does your Night Film look so skinny compared to mine? Anyway.
Do you have a paperback or the hardcover?
I have the paperback.
Okay. I bought my daughter the paperback, my oldest daughter. She has the paperback.
Yeah, it's chunkier.
But I like this cover more. It feels more mysterious, slightly ominous. It says, on a damp October night, beautiful young Ashley Cordova is found dead in an abandoned warehouse in Lower Manhattan. Though her death is ruled a suicide, veteran investigative journalist Scott McGrath suspects otherwise. As he probes the strange circumstances surrounding Ashley's life and death, McGrath comes face to face with the legacy of her father, the legendary reclusive cult horror film director Stanislaus Cordova, a man who hasn't been seen in public for more than 30 years. When I first read this book, crap, it had a real chokehold on me. When McGrath was investigating this death and then got all into the father's, cult-like following for his films, it was so eerie and so creepy, and I was like really weirded out. I could not stop reading this book. I had all kind of assumptions as to what really happened, what was really up with the father, and then the whole cult following thing really had my head spinning, like, what is up with these weirdo people? It was just so strange and so mysterious, and I could not get enough of it. Also, this is one of those mixed media books where things like, there's articles in here and internet clippings and photos and whatnot. And now that I think about it, I wonder, is this like one of the first books that was using mixed media like this? I don't know, but I'm curious. And I just think everything was done so well. Everything made so much sense. All of these mixed media articles and internet clippings and everything, it just made the story feel that much more real.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought this book hook, line, and sinker, period. Like I just was believing everything that I read. I was in it. I'm gonna read this again that I'm talking about it. I just have to. But anyway, that's Night Film by Marisha Pessel. Very good thriller. I feel like I want to stress that this is not like a, what do they call it, like a popcorn thriller? That's the term they use.
It's like a film noir.
It is. So don't go into this thinking it's like your average popcorn thriller. That's not how this book reads at all. So just be warned about that. Just understand this is written very differently, and it's really really deep, and I think very very well written. So if you haven't read Night Film, I highly recommend it.
It's good. I like that book. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
book. So I have it's technically, I believe, a horror. And that's Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Hong that came out this year sometime.
Is that horror? I was
It's
wondering what genre that book
technically
was.
it's technically like a horror. So it's good. I enjoyed it. It's a really nice commentary on like elitism and like the beauty world, and it gives
Mm.
you like Gwyneth Paltrow Goop vibes, but sinister and
Oh,
dark. So I'll read you
well,
the
isn't Goop sinister and dark?
it is. So I'll just read you the blurb. Our narrator produces a sound for the maybe I won't. Our narrator produces a sound from the piano no one else at the conservatory can. She employs a technique she learned from her parents, also talented musicians who fled China in the wake of the Cultural Revolution. And when an accident leaves her parents debilitated, she abandons her future for a job at a high-end beauty and wellness store in New York City. Holistique, with a K, is known for its remarkable products and procedures, from remoras that suck out cheap Botox to eyelash extensions made of spider silk, and her new job affords her entry into a world of privilege and gives her a long-awaited sense of belonging. She becomes transfixed by Helen, the niece of Holistique's charismatic owner, and the two strike up a friendship that hazily veers into more. All the while, our narrator is plied with products that slim her thighs, smooth her skin, and lighten her hair. But beneath these creams and tinctures lies something sinister. Um, oh, this is another one of these books that's supposed to be darkly funny, but I didn't find any humor in it. But that's maybe just because it wasn't my kind of dark humor.
Right.
My kind of dark humor is dark. Yeah. This was just, it's very good commentary on just like how screwed up all of our beauty standards are, the pressures that are put on people. It's very unsettling. There's some pretty decent body horror.
Mm.
It was a good book. This was very
Mm.
entertaining. It's a quick read. Um, Definitely has some great points to make at the end. You know, like it's not just, it's a little bit more than just a horror story. Yeah, definitely worth it. Read it. I loved it.
Mm.
Mhm. I was like
I didn't know
excited to
what
get
that
back
book
to
was
it every
about.
time. Me either.
Okay.
I was just excited every time. Like I'd seen the cover for a while, then I randomly actually read the blurb, and I was like, "Oh, well, that sounds interesting." Um,
Okay.
yeah, so like every time I was excited to get back to it every time. I love a book where you're like, you put it down, but you're like, I really do want to get
Yeah.
back to this because I
Yes,
want to
yes,
know where
yes.
this is going. Because it's creepy. Like some of these procedures are super creepy and really
Oh my
sus, and
God.
like the way that they're doing some sus stuff. Okay, like it is creepy.
Oh my. Okay. Okay, that's going on the list. All right. Maybe I'll
Mm-hmm.
get lucky
Mm-hmm.
and see it come up on McKay. I look frozen.
You do. You might be.
Yeah. That means it's time to end this live. What the heck's going on here?
We
You're
started
frozen.
with practical.
You're frozen for me too.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not frozen for
that's
me.
great. Okay, that's great.
All right.
All right. We've had
Well,
enough.
we've had, yeah, this is over.
Yes, this is over. Thank you for joining us on this 100th episode live. We appreciate it so much.
We
It's,
do.
yeah, yeah.
It's weird that I can't see you. You're just stuck like this and you
I
can't see me. But
know.
anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. And Naomi's going to go check out some knitting drama next. And
Yeah, and then my
yeah.
browser just went dark. So bye. Oh, okay,
Bye.
we're back.
Oh,
Now we're
yeah,
moving again.
we're back.
Okay. Wow,
You're not
that
for
was
real now.
it's getting weird, folks.
It's getting weird. It's Gwyneth Paltrow Goop coming to get you for
I
bad
know we
mouthing
should
her.
have never said it.
We
Okay,
should
that was a
never said
mistake.
anything about Gwen. Anyway.
She's everywhere. Okay, that's gonna do it for us. We're out of here. Bye.
Bye. I forget